All right, we're gonna do a recording today just to test the microphone. I'm gonna go probably show main screen here, and we'll just focus in on some of the trading that we are getting into. Pull some things aside so I can find them later, but we're gonna pull our main monitor here. I might hop in and out, so I might have to cut the camera here for a little bit, but just recording this for my own purposes right now. Right now we see a couple of things. So on the 15-minute, we see this liquidity void. I think we're going to draw down to that today. We didn't hit the 25% mark yesterday, but we also in Asia failed to take out this high, and we only reached the 25% level of that of Monday's first presented fair value gap, and we failed here. So keeping note that we could potentially, the bias for today, the daily candle is just an inside day. So apologies for the, you kind of see the candle itself. It's an inside day here. And we have a little range we've been in from this candle's wick high or tail high to tail low. And then I do think that this is the closest one on the daily. So that's why my bias is to the downside. I think we could fill that in and then potentially head higher towards these relative equal highs. But it is a Christmas week, so we might just dawdle around in here, but that's the play for today. I want to see it close beneath this before I consider taking it, because we're in a market maker sell model right now. Price came up here, took out internal range liquidity, and is now seeking external range liquidity potentially. So that's the play. Target is down here for today, and that's what I'm going to try and play. Okay. I'm looking at the wrong screen here. I took a play earlier. You can see that. Scrunch it up a little bit. See if I can make this larger as well. So I took a quick scalp earlier today. Had been messing around with silver, got my ass handed to me, and decided to take some high probability trades today. So entered at the return to that sell side imbalance at 6 o'clock. I saw price come up, take a sell buy side liquidity here, shifted lower. Sell stop had to be above here, which it was. Price wicked up and then continued lower to my target around here. So I want to take profit around here because this was a 61% retracement here, and this is a fair value gap that could have bounced upwards again. So it does look like we're getting our movement lower. And so what I want to do is, let's see, this is a mitigation block. So what I don't want to see is, I don't want to see a big push upwards. Now it's only 7:22 a.m. So I'm not expecting any move to occur, rather than a continuation of this expansion lower. Does not have to respect that first presented fair value gap, but if it does, there is definitely sell side liquidity that I'm interested in. Positions. So 7:20, not exactly the right time for it to run yet. 7 to 9, we certainly could see a initial run lower. I have my trading view charts up on a different chart right now, so just marking up a little bit of the sell side liquidity that got taken earlier. So this sell side is being pretty well taken care of. Sell side imbalance. Buy side inefficiency we see has gotten rebalanced here. My assumption is that we continue to head lower. On the 15-minute chart, we are at a old bullish order block, but those order blocks have not been respected here. So we can kind of see distribution, terminus, external range liquidity taken, displacement, market structure shift higher, goes back into this buy side imbalance, takes a old 1 minute internal range liquidity and is now reaching back towards external range liquidity is what I'm thinking. But as you can see, this first presented fair value gap is the first one at 3 o'clock. London open kill zone. Looks like there wasn't really one in Asia. I'm looking to see. I'm actually kind of surprised there wasn't one in Asia. Or there's not one after midnight. Okay. Yeah. Usually I post one after midnight as well. All right, so I'm looking for this order block to start getting closures below. This is pretty much in discount for the day, so I'm weary of taking shorts, but this is the market maker sell model. So it's 7:27. I might just go eat something, come back for 8:30 news. We have preliminary GDP, durable goods, preliminary GDP price index at 8:30. There's some October data being released today. Capacity. So today is a full day, and then Wednesday is a half day, I believe. Let me check my mail. So Wednesday is an early close. Thursday, market is closed. And then Friday, it opens up again. Okay, so had I entered on the first presented fair value gap, that would be roughly 4 or 10 handles there. It does look like it's going to creep lower. I don't want to enter in this. There's no entry for me here. It's far too late. I should have really held on to this one. But I was getting myself back out of red, so I think getting out of red is important first, and then you can look for your play later on this morning. I have to be a little bit careful because I lost about nearly $2,000 on the accounts. So one of the accounts has roughly $700 in drawdown left. So we need to find pristine plays, and shorting in discount here does not follow my rules. Shorting up here, we can take a look at this overall. As you can kind of see, we would have been above equilibrium, so that is a valid sell sign imbalance to take a play on, and so I did. Being in the discount range here, it makes no sense to short down here, even if it's going to come down and give us that sell side quick little move downwards. I'm waiting for New York session for the greater move. If we are going to get it at New York and not before New York, I would appreciate that. I would expect a run back up above into equilibrium of the range. Maybe it takes this and then comes back up. I don't want it to take this anymore. I like this failure here. And I do think that it's going to continue lower. So we will wait. We'll wait it out. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. So right down at 662 roughly. We took out a couple of sell side liquidities here. There's a handful more, so this could be high resistance accumulation point. And if it does break down below here, then I do think we're going to go into this area for sure. Oh, all right. So we're seeing some movement here. I think it's going to end up going. So bearish order blocks are being respected here. But it is only 7:30. So the real question is if we go down into that daily range, do we end up going down further, testing this buy-side imbalance, which has gotten created here? So this is a huge buy-side imbalance. So roughly there. So the midpoint would be roughly here. Let's mark that as sell side liquidity. And we should see that on our, oops, I messed that one up. Hopefully that's there. So now we see that. Let's say this is daily discount busy equilibrium. That should show up everywhere now. once I stop freezing. Sometimes NinjaTrader freezes. All right, so we see that prices come back up. Technically, we also do see a shift, low, high, lower, low, displacement above. Whether this holds or not is a different question. If it does hold, that's a good indication that we may end up coming back up into this area. Maybe we hit one of these or one of these for a failure swing or a bearish breaker. I'm watching this area particularly. As that would put us in the lower quadrant of this overall swing. If it is bearish, we don't want to see it go to the 50% mark there. Okay. All right. I'm gonna now pause a bit to go eat something and make some food before the 8:30 news. So we'll let price do what it wants to this morning, and then we'll trade New York. So be back in a little bit. All right. Have a good day. All right, we're back. 8:13. Let's see what happened since then. So 7:10, 750 to 8:10 macro took out this buy side liquidity here. And now we have shifted below this, shifted below this. So I expect that the 8:30 a.m. news should either cause a continued displacement down to London lows down here. So I think this is London or midnight, roughly London, we'll say. And then all we'll do from that point onwards is oh, that's already locked. I'm gonna get rid of that. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep that for later because I want to review that. But this is the new week opening gap, liquidity void, and this is the quadrants levels. So we anticipate this quadrant, if it's very bearish, you'll try and go and close this up first, but you can start taking profit at the 25% and the 50% levels. This says 75%, just, upper quadrant. So that's the play for today. I'm going to try and scalp some of this, but I want to wait to see what 8:30 a.m. news does. If it drops down and leaves a fair value gap that passes through this, but does not go all the way down, then I'll take a retrace into this and short that from there. Looks like that was a return to, what time is it? 8:16. So yeah, it looks like on the, and let me make this blue so we can see it across. So here, right here, we could have taken a lower time frame. That's a 5-second chart, right? You can do a 1-second chart too. So 1-second chart, buy side got taken. We have a short-term low, high, low, higher, high. We see a displacement lower into this leg. Market structure shifts back up into this liquidity void here, and then we could have taken a short here. Now, price does return back to that level over here. It's going to be easier to see on the 5-second chart. So price returns back up into this liquidity void. So this is a low risk sell for 80, 10 points is all you get. All right, so let's see what we got. Let me get some light in here. Too little light? Oh, no, my screen's keep this light now. Just see what our others are doing. What's gold doing? Silver. Wow, silver really jumped. Okay. Silver. Wow, what happened with silver? Silver's in no man's land, so it needs projections up. So where it could go up here, essentially. That's 78.810. So this is a first accumulation. I don't want to do anything on silver because I missed this. You sort of have to be watching silver. So I will go back to NASDAQ. And go back here. There's probably a scalp on silver. It's accumulating in this area, but it's gone up quite a bit in these past few minutes. So 8 o'clock a.m. I'm going to note that for later. Mm. On the 15 minutes, we've gone back through high, low, higher, high, displacement lower, bearish breaker, fair value gap. So this would have been a low risk sell potentially. I don't know about low risk sell, but I'm not going to take any of this volatility because I don't know where this is going to go. And I will monitor silver, natural gas, palladium. Monitor silver. Yeah, lately silver has done well in earlier sessions like Asia, but this run looks like a run up. Doesn't feel like it's going to be have much staying power because gold is also selling as well. So gold had one heck of a run up during Asia session, and it's holding. I'm looking at my trading view. We're waiting for news to occur at 8:30, and then we'll see how 9:30 a.m. wants to either make that continue, or if we've hit lower time frame or high time frame key objective already, so be it. So this area here is where I'm anticipating us traveling down to. And those are on my chart. Typically a stop rate occurs. There's not going to, we're not considering a reversal until a stop rate occurs, and that would be on, our London lows. Previous lows here. during 10 a.m. yesterday, previous session. Or we'll do the lows of the liquidity void, and then further down below those, we have these relative equal lows down here, which is near. So I'm going to place this down here as well, just in case we head down there. So yeah, that's on the 15-minute, that's sort of what I'm looking at. It's failed here already, so I expect lower prices. I want to see what happens at 8:30 a.m. news, and then from there we can continue. Silver may be a nice scalp opportunity. Not at the highs though here. That doesn't make much sense to me. It could still go higher, but not watching that. Wow, it is really spiking. So let's see what it does here. 8:30. Silver might actually be the one to watch. So let's see, what is this? Silver 15 minutes. Sell side got taken there. We have this. All charts available. It's reached a 50% retracement here. So we might expect things, if it's truly bullish, then this area could retrace right here. Now I've seen silver completely give up the ghost here as well. So there's almost an immediate rebalance to the 79% level. So we're gonna have to see, does silver have the willingness to continue higher? Or did it just catch a lot of people going long there? Sometimes it takes an external range liquidity out. We saw this yesterday as well during our Asia session. Around here. So it went completely up, completely down, and took out this liquidity here. So it is possible, and it does look like it ended up continuing higher while then having a really sharp retrace. So these are all really big market maker buy models. So market maker buy model. Sell model to external range, but internal range liquidity, and then external range liquidity. So now it could be in the first few steps of a retrace. If we drop below this short-term low and we displace lower, silver could be a short here to a greater overall 50% swing range that we are in here. So that's what I would expect on silver, but you don't want to typically be shorting something which is at all-time highs. That's just generally a bad idea. We can keep this on consideration though. We've got a 5-second chart here, 1-minute chart too. So if it goes down 70.10, 70.11 maybe, we'll keep that in mind. But otherwise, we can see how this came down to 70%, but did not take any others. Now, if we took the true swing low down there, price only came down to about 70.5%. So this is likely going to continue higher. Right when I say that, it drops down 30, 20, 10, 40. So fickle area. Let's see how we do on news here in 30 seconds. So we'll watch silver, we'll watch NASDAQ. Silver, we know there's a huge potential lower down to 70.11. And we'll watch that in the event that this sell side liquidity is breached. Okay, it's 8:30. Should see a little bit of news going on right now. All right, so we saw initial move lower. So we're seeing initial move first lower, then higher. 8:30. We did not take out this relative equal high up here. Not yet, at least. No short-term low has been violated either, not yet. Does look like we are heading lower though, overall. And silver does look like it's going down to take out this low at least. It's engineering relative equal lows here. So if that remains the same and we see a shift above here, then we could probably say we're safe to head higher. So if it can't go below these lows, then that's a different story. But as you can kind of see here, we took low, we took low, we took this low out too. And that's what this is here. This is an intermediate term low. If we take that out, we are for sure going to at least come down to this 50% mark. Let's go mark out. Oh, we have those actually. Never mind. First, second. Yep. We have relative equal highs. Perhaps this could get taken out first. In order to have a true reversal lower, we need to take those out. So let's mark those. Oh, this thing's frozen again. Silver is indeed spiking higher. Ah, we missed it. That was a good scalp though. So we'll anticipate that silver will continue to make higher highs until we see otherwise. We'll wait for a retrace. So now we have 3 high, high, high. And this, I believe, is the new range, but we can keep this range for now. Because this didn't take out this low, this didn't take out this low. So this is still the dealing range with the new high in place. And as you can kind of see, if this new high comes down to here, we have an optimal trade entry with a bullish order block combined with a fair value gap. So I like this one. So let's see if we can get a retrace on silver. Silver does seem to be moving a little bit nicer, so we'll see if we can catch a retrace on that. Now this fair value gap took out the high, so I'm paying closer attention to this one here. As a retrace potential. Silver is moving really fast, so I would wait to take this. I'm going to grade that silver buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. And we'll mark it there. We'll still mark the overall swing, but this one is worth watching, in my opinion. Oh, NASDAQ went down, took out London's lows. Would we have caught that? Probably not. That's okay. And we are heading lower even. So now what we can do is, now we've taken that low out, we can anticipate this is going to continue lower. All right, so also on silver, we see it's not respecting that imbalance here. So in fact, it's coming down to this one here. Right? So here on this 1 minute one, now we wait to see, do we get a displacement higher? Above, there's not really much of a short term. Let's go down to 1 second. Here, I think we can try a long here. Looking at that sort of movement up from, because I don't see this as a displacement. I see this more of a retracement into this area here. That's a good reaction from here, from the 50% mark. We need to see, does this allow us, do we spike down, or do we respect this bullish order block here? 837. So it's going in between these two now, fully closed in buy side here. This could turn into an inversion fair value gap if we're reversing here. We did take out the high. So if we're going to continue, it needs to stay above this and respect this. Otherwise, we may see a reversal here. All right, so we've got NASDAQ coming down into this here. So it's touched the first one. We have a little bit below us. Silver's not really doing much. It's holding at the top there. There's a really key suspension block on the NASDAQ that I think we can take. if it retraces back to it up here. I would like to see it come back up here before heading higher. Silver, you see a little break above. Take a silver long here. And we don't want this to come back down here if at all possible. Oh boy. See, silver is a little bit of a beast. I don't want it to drop heavily here, but I do want... Oh, NASDAQ dropped down already. We might lose out on silver then. We need silver to recover like right now. Otherwise, we are out of luck. Because we aren't making enough on... We aren't able to make NASDAQ. NASDAQ's already at that midpoint. See if silver can break its all-time high. Okay, good. So you want to take profits right at that equal high up there. And we should get that at this point in time. Find my positions. So I anticipate silver should take out these equal highs up here. And continue its trend, ideally. It could be safe and take out profit just below, right about here, but I anticipate it should take that out. Well, supposedly. Let's hope it doesn't come back and take this out. That might have been it. What time is it? 8:42. We do not want to see it come back down into this area here. Otherwise, we are sort of toast on this account. Lots of equal highs up there. We want to see one more push if possible. We want to see silver just really bang at it right now. It's good to see it did not come all the way down here, but I'm sort of hesitant right now. It's spending a lot of time up in that area. We need to see it really reach both of these very quickly. Want to see a big green bullet up there. There we go. All right, so that's good. We got a silver squeeze long there. It played out exactly like we were thinking, and was able to record that live. It was a little toasty, but that gave my small account a little bit more room to breathe. So instead of 700 drawdown, we're at 1450 with that $631 profit. Small fry, there's still a long ways to go before I can get profitable payout, since I did lose nearly 2,000 the other day. So good win today. And let me see if the boys were. Gonna send, this is the way. All right, so that was a really nice scalp on the smaller time frame. We outlined and looked at the quadrants. We saw that it respected the midway quadrant here. It was a little messy here. Entry-wise, it wasn't the best entries because I bought where did I buy? The heck? Oh, right there it is. So I bought really poorly there. So in the future, what I want to do is buy at the lower quadrant here somewhere. So we saw this liquidity void. We could generally think, okay, well, price could return back up there. Once we saw market shift back upwards, price can return there. It went higher, and we captured, let's see, that's 630. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, hold on. 630, 70, 630 to 70, 750. So about 100.120 divided by 2. So about 60 ticks or so on silver. So silver can go really fast. That's all I wanted to get out of silver, is to continue to get these sort of runs up. So retracement, really crucial. Optimal trade entry, really crucial. Also note that in this swing overall, we ended up dropping to that 50%, mark right there. See if I can pull that over here. So this 50% mark, perfect, nice bounce from there. And yeah, I think NASDAQ was a good short. It happened. We were talking about how we wanted it to reject off of that new week opening gap from London. It did, but it did not give us an entry before dropping deeply down into there. So right now, what's happened on NASDAQ? Let's take a look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ's gone into the liquidity void a little bit. Started to retrace, went down into the lower quadrant, and we have a retrace now. So I want to see, how does this react? How does it react here? I want to see it hit this, and actually I want to see this grading here. So we see that this suspension block here, I want to see, does it maintain and close and stay closed beneath this? I want to see it reach that, though, because that particular suspension block took out a few sell side liquidity areas here and here. So I would like to see this head back up here, take this out, stay within this lower quadrant, and then come and take the rest of that liquidity void out. And if so, I'll take a small scalp. I need to take a picture of this. I'm going to pull this off to a different screen first. Watch the charts while I'm doing this. But every single day, I try to capture all of these images here. And what I'm going to do is on the silver 1 minute, grab this here and get the whole picture. And I try to capture these as trades that I take throughout the day. That's a silver one, actually. Do that. Just it's easier for me to see once I capture these images. It's going to be important for you to capture these images as well. Let's go back to NASDAQ. Silver's play is done. We're going to watch NASDAQ here for a little bit. Okay. Today is Tuesday, 12/23. All right, so one quick silver scalp there. I'm also recording this because I know eventually, once I make enough money, Apex is going to ask me to record these, so I'm going to have these live already. All right, so here we see it's respected the middle quadrant, closed pretty much around here, respected the upper quadrant, and has gone back. It's come back to this old low, dropped in, bounced off of that. So we see liquidity up here on the lower time frame. We understand that you can't have a reversal. Even on the lower time frame perspective, this is a relative equal high. On the 1 minute time frame, this is an imbalance, internal range liquidity, before targeting external range liquidity down here, and the rest of this liquidity void, potentially all the way down here to, remember, on the daily levels, oops, what just happened here? On the daily levels, we are going down into this liquidity void, but also down even deeper. If I were to make this daily, so we can see 50% mark right around here. We understand that this is the overall, make this slightly there. This is the overall 50% mark. We're going to lock this as well. We know this is a SIBI. I think this is not visible to everyone, though. So we understand that this is now visible to everyone. Great, we can see it. And we know that that's a discount. SIBI, or BISI, midpoint there. So we can come down to this level, 2257, 22580, 225, 255, 25, 255, 80. Those are all levels that I'm looking for today. And I want to place this maybe just want it to be a little bit closer there. All right, so 9:30, let's have it run up into here and see evidence of displacement lower. And then you can take that first displacement lower down. I think there's going to be quite a bit of room. I mean, let me duplicate this and put this as a sell side liquidity as well. And we'll say at 80. Buy side, upper quadrant. That way I know what it is when we're looking at it on the lower time frames. So what this now looks like, it looks something like this. My computer unfreezes. What is silver doing? My goodness. Did we get a reversal? Again, like I don't love trading reversals on all-time highs, but my goodness, that is one heck of a short there. Anyone that didn't take profits up there now got squeezed. And this is likely going to head lower and lower. So it's got a nice market structure shift now. So it's not quite gotten to that low. It's almost there. But from this low to this high, oh, it did. So it's hit the 50% mark there. In theory, it could head higher, but this is a pretty big displacement. I think it maybe comes down into that 61% area, 70% optimal trade entry area before heading higher, but it's going to head higher today in general. All right, so let's see. What else do we have here? All right, so again, we're looking for lower targets down below. We see, oh, I didn't mark this, relatively below. Liquidity. That's all within the upper quadrant as well, right? So this whole area is fair game if we are still bullish, which I think we are on the daily. I do think we are still bullish, and we have not taken out this relative equal high up here. So ultimately, I think retrace lower Tuesday makes sense. Maybe a continuation higher Wednesday, and then nothing Thursday, and then either gap up Friday or consolidation Friday as we get closer to Santa Claus rally. ES would, so ES has actually taken out, has not taken out that high. So ES would need to rally as well. And the Dow, don't really care as much about the Dow, but sometimes watch it. Wow, silver's already recovered. So all-time highs, any retracements to equilibrium, looks like you can buy them up. And once you get a displacement higher, we have a market structure shift on the lower time frame. Price came back down to a low, high, lower, low, higher, high breaker. And you could take this liquidity here. And looks like it went to roughly 3/4 where this old breaker occurred as well. So now market's a little confused on silver. We need direction, but generally speaking, at all-time highs, you want to focus on longs. Let's go back down into our lower time frame. So 8:59. We're engineering a little bit more liquidity down here. Let's mark it. Man, this thing's slow as hell sometimes. I'm gonna have to restart this whole thing. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is engineering liquidity ahead of New York equities open, right? So what we see here is relative equal lows and about half an hour before. So we see short-term high here, internal range liquidity. We want to see us rage upwards and take this out. Now, what do we do? So that's the first option, right? Is we see this come and take this out. Second option, it never takes this out. It's very bearish, and we head further lower. You can then target each of these and go from there, right? Silver looks like it's going to reject a little further. That's great. It should. We're going to take a look at 5-second here on NASDAQ. And we want to see, remember, we want to see prices lower. Here, there's actually a sell side liquidity waiting for us as well. Roughly just past. So short-term low, sell side liquidity just past 470. Lower quadrant of D1 busy. So now we'll be able to see that as well there. 5-second chart is still sort of like chilling in its own area as expected. So now we have all of our downside areas marked. We know what liquidity we're looking for on the higher time frame. There's a little volume imbalance down here we could trade down to if we pass through everything here. So we'll just keep that in mind. Take profit at key levels there. 1 minute likes to freeze. Silver still respecting this. You can kind of see it came down to pick up some more of these imbalance areas. So you have a whole bunch of liquidity voids here, which came down to pick up. And now it's heading back to take out these relative equal highs up here. And there's actually some gaps up here too. So I anticipate this should take these gaps out at least pretty easily. Okay, let's see where is. Need to put one more sell side down there. 43. Yep, it's the one. Did not have that on my trading view charts. Maybe. What is that? I have some lines on my chart that I shouldn't have. Delete. Delete. And let's get rid of these as well. Old rays on my chart that I need to get rid of. Okay, great. So on the daily chart, I want see a daily here, and I'm just putting some items on my daily chart right now so I can see those daily levels on my chart as well on trading view. Okay, good. And we're still within a weekly consolidation zone. We're in the upper quadrant of that, so shorts would make sense. Yeah. Let's pull this a little closer. That's a little too close. Roughly there. What's this level? The high is 25412.50. Oh, looks like we're moving. 907. And let's see if it takes it out or not. So we might be more bearish than expected. I do like this equal low here, engineered. If it can keep this for 930 open, then we should be good there. $580. 255, 25. And then 25470. Two five five two five. I don't know if it's gonna go up at open. It looks like it's failing here quite a bit. Oh, I would not want this to hit these targets before 9:30 a.m. I'd prefer it heads up to this, but if this fails to get up here, then we are very bearish, and it cannot take any of these buy sides. We are very, very bearish. Silver almost got to the bottom there, but it did not. It does look like it's going to just drop out through here, honestly. It's hard for me to take a short here, though, but I'm still targeting these upper quadrant areas. It looks like it's just going to keep going. Unless we get some kind of a save here and we unseat all these shorts. All right, so some of those relative equal lows got taken out right now. And this one is imminently about to get taken out. So, yeah, same play. We're looking for head higher first, take out some form of liquidity purge, right? We want to see that leading up to 9:30, whether it takes out the sell side imbalance, heads up to that new week opening, or heads up to the first presented fair value gap, or takes out any of these higher above it. You want to see some form of liquidity purge. Now, purging all of the, like, purging up here would be ideal because this is relative equal high up at 25,647. If it can get up there, that would be fantastic for getting out any shorts that got in too early. Because right now it's failed each and every time. It's failed to go higher. So we will see what it ends up doing. But definitely looking for shorts into that daily buy side imbalance, which we are in right now. So 25% level, the upper quadrant, that 25580 is really, really important. If things are going to be still bullish on the week, we want it to retrace to there and not much further, 50% at most. That is the 25525 level at most is what we're allowed to retrace to. Let me see what this daily level is here. What is the open? 25635.25. Let's make this exact. All right. And let me see one more thing. How much data am I? I don't need this much data. 120, I probably need like 80 days. Yeah, that's better. That gives me the past 3 months worth of data, and that's enough. That gives me this here, and it helps load faster too. Oops. We have to lock that. All right, so this is good. We want to see a little bit long. It's 9:14 right now, so we can see Couple of longs here. If it's bullish, it might not even go further lower. Very possible, but I prefer that it goes lower today, honestly. At the beginning of the week, we want to see lows. We want to see these equal lows get torched. What we don't want to see is an immediate flush lower. If we're going to head lower, we want to see a little bit of movement here. So let's make sure we have this liquidity marked. First and foremost, let's have this marked on our charts. Lock it. Because that is a key area of liquidity, right? Even on the 15, that's a 15-minute candle high. This is an internal range liquidity on the 15-minute, which we graded and we looked at on the 1 minute. This is the imbalance, which took out 3 sell-side liquidity items. So we definitely want to see that taken. We also want to see the lower quadrant respected. So we'll look for an imbalance to take on the way down. And then we'll target what we can target. Let me take a look at the Asia ranges as well. So CB, we have Asia projections. 1, 2, 3. That's an equal low. Where is my 25% level though? It's here. Yeah. Is that right? That is right. Okay, so roughly here. So Asia 1, 2, 3. Roughly 4. CBDR projection is right at that 25580 level. I like that. 25580 is a really good level to take profit at. And then there's some items below, but they don't really match up. The relative equal low at 25545 does match up with a CBDR 1, 2, 3, 4 deviation low. So it does match up with that. Can I put like symbols? I would put a star. Mountain. Put a diamond. Oh, I make the size bigger though. There we go. That's kind of cool. And then 5, 4, 5. And then 5, 2, 5. But really, it's those two. May not need price to go any lower. Those two are the key. All right, so we have our targets here. We'll wait for a purge on liquidity above here. and we want to see a sell-off. If we don't see that, then no play. If we like, come all the way up here, come all the way up here, that is not part of a play, right? Right now, that would be a 50% retracement up into our area. Roughly 50%, right? Swing to swing. So that'd be that upper quadrant up here. So we can go up to there. 60% retracement would make it above this short-term high, but that would be a little less. I prefer to take that less so, because at that point it could have just, maybe it purges the down here, hits this upper quadrant, and then heads higher. At that point, it's just going to go for these upper buy side liquidities. Midnight open is above us. 8:30 a.m. opens above us, and 9:30 will be above us as well. Price is live. Let me see if I can minimize these. So markets will be live shortly. Let me find my OBS. I'm gonna fade to logo super quick just because I have to make sure my data is over here. Oops. Okay, now we can come back. Good. Okay, good. Okay. All right, so that's the play. We'll see if it pans out today. About 8 minutes till open. Let me see if there's any other 15-minute. Nope, not really. It's just this imbalance above us and a bearish order block here at 25665. 665. So there's a bearish order block right there. Let's make that a big black line. And we can mark this as M15 bearish order block. So what's nice is that bearish order block lines up very closely with the upper quadrant, right? So we don't want to see it go any further above that upper quadrant. We're seeing price peak upwards right now. That's good. We'll use our lower time frames to enter. Once we see a displacement lower, we need to see a displacement below a short-term low is key. And then we should be able to take it. But we want to wait for this because we see this. There's three things, right? One, it's a high probability fair value gap because there's a bearish order block on the 1 minute. There's a bearish order block on the 15-minute, plus an imbalance here, plus it's taken out previous areas for mitigation. and we'll have taken out this short-term high too. So we're going to give it a minute to spike up first, and then we'll look for short evidence once we get there on the lower time frames here. We have already taken this area of liquidity out on the 1 minute, so keep that in mind. It doesn't have to go up here. It doesn't have to go up here. If it doesn't go up there, it's very, very bearish, and we can then target some of our other ones further down below, you know, like here. And I don't want to target this one. I want to be out by 50% at most. So we're going to see this data. So you can see all those levels there. All these areas are mitigation where people went long. And then if they did not have stops and they've held this whole time, they want to get out short. And smart money wants to get in short here because there's a bearish order block. There's a SIBI. There's an imbalance, inefficiency of the buy side. So once it hits that, then it's balanced and we can shoot lower, and we want to see price close below this and then continue lower. This really helps that they've engineered liquidity down here. So notice 25609, 25608.25. That is a relative equal low. And just to be curious, let's see what happened on silver. Silver is unable to recapture this displacement lower, so that leads me to believe it's heading down to 70.049 or 69.940, somewhere around that area, around these two. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see these, so I kind of have to scrunch them up a little bit. So I see the 1 minute, I see all the details that are here. That's good. Make sure I'm still recording. Yes, I am. 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 10 seconds till open. So we want to see, remember, we want to see Judas swing higher first, which we're seeing right now. Boom. All right, so remember, we want to, smart money reversal will always happen and start with a liquidity purge. So I'm going to get that first. Silver, I'll just keep silver on my mobile just so I can peek at it later. But NASDAQ is what we're looking at for displacement higher first. All right. %, 650, 25, 650, and 660. 650 and 660 are prime. That's optimal trade entry right around here in the lower quadrant there. It can go up into the upper quadrant, but briefly. We don't want it to. We want to see it come into this quadrant, respect the midpoint, and then go from there. So 30 seconds till live. We should anticipate a liquidity sweep up here first. And draw down into 25580, 25580, 25543. 10 seconds. Nice little bullish flag forming here, so we'll let that form. 9:30 open. All right, so we want to see the liquidity purged first. Good. Middle here. Good. All right, so this is where we need to see price tracked lower first. Let's see where does the 1 minute close. Let's see where this closes. All right, so longs are winning by quite a bit. So our short thesis is probably negated for now. So it looks like it only needed to close below the 50% briefly. And it probably is going to run for this. So the short play did not play out, but can we see what happens at these longs? So that was a huge gap up. All right. So now we've gone well above midnight open, 8:30 open, and 9:30 open. So we just took out core liquidity. We did not take out Asia's range yet. We stopped just short of taking out Asia's high. So I imagine in this, we'll see a movement higher to take out Asia into that first presented fair value gap. Now, if it fails, if it does take Asia out and fails, that's usually a good sign for potentially a sell-off the rest of the day, because that's a pretty strong rejection there. But I need to see proof first. So we're going to take this and grade it. So we're at this wick here. So we'll see how does price respond at the 50% mark. Does it continue higher and take out Asia's highs? So that's a 50% retrace. You probably could scalp this higher. Gold has sold off. Silver has sold off as well. Quite a bit. So that was a really nice sell-off on silver. NASDAQ, we're holding this. I don't want to consider shorts until Asia's high gets taken out there. So I almost would like to, I don't see a true displacement lower yet either, but we are in premium of that range right now. So we need to see more proof, right? So sell side imbalance here. Asia high left untouched. I think they might want to take that out first. So we're not seeing core displacement yet. All right, so maybe it wants to take out Asia's high. What time is it? 9:30. I want to see if it takes out Asia's high but stops there, or if it continues higher. I was expecting it to not leave nearly as much of that daily buy-side imbalance intact. It could be very, 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 very bullish, very possible. But now, let's see if this pushes out some of the other folks. Remember, smart money reversal will always start with a liquidity purge. There's liquidity waiting up here. And we could scalp this. We know where that liquidity is going, but it's dangerous here because we have areas where it could reject. And if it fails to get up there, if it's very bearish, it would fail to get up there, but it doesn't seem to be fairly bearish. It seems like it's going to rush up and take that out. Now, if it does fail here, then it definitely could be. Could be a piece. We haven't seen evidence of short yet, so but if it does fail to take that out and it starts to completely leave, then that's another story. Silver has completely round tripped. So that was a really nice play on silver. And that completes a market maker sell model. So silver might actually start coming up. We have not traded to the low of this first presented fair value gap yet, but we busted through this entire range for sure. So we'll wait for 10 o'clock. If 10 o'clock we see a trade higher, an open trade higher, and then we can see it past the open, then potentially there's room for a short. But for now, we wait. Okay, so some lows are being taken out here. First presented fair value gap has appeared. All right. Let's put that on our board. So this is the first one that's roughly 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, at least 5 handles. So I'm going to watch this one closely. A flag is forming here, so lots of bulls are probably piling in, thinking it's going to go higher. That Asia high is sitting there. I imagine they will take that before they would run it, unless this fails, and then they'll fail that. So far, no trade, since we were looking for shorts, and they did not happen. London AM got taken, so right now it's holding in that first presented fair value gap. So potential for us to spike above Asia's high is likely. Silver is still sort of, some of the late shorts are still catching up. All right. So now we're starting to see a little bit more structure. So I want to see if we get a displacement lower here for sure. This could just be a stop run into internal range liquidity. We want to see, does it? So this is short-term low on the 1 minute. There's potential here. Let's not over leverage though. So we're still in the upper quadrant of this. We've traded through the first presented fair value gap a few times. We touched the first presented fair value gap again. So we went to take out that liquidity. What time is it? 9:40. So it's not yet time. If it takes it out, then so be it. But this could dawdle around for a few more minutes. The opening range is a very, very large range, though. It's definitely an incredibly large range. Some work stuff going on. All right, so it's retouched first presented fair value gap. Technically, we did take out some. We didn't take out all short-term lows on the real-time hour chart, so I don't think we can use that 9:30 a.m. as a first presented fair value gap, but let's see. So far, it's holding at the first presented fair value gap pretty nicely. It's not yet time for it to run. So we need to wait to see if we get our play at 10 o'clock, silver bullet. That's what we're looking for. On the upside, we have prior day's high. So the prior day's high we have up there. We've got a teen rejection block as a buy side liquidity. And then we should also put that short-term high up there too. So let's put all that on our board. We're diving, of course, we're diving into our yesterday's first presented fair value gap perspective. We did not take that high yet. It's looking like we're very close to taking that high, probably at the 950 to 1010 macro. We'll see. Or just before it. But it does look like it's running up to take that out soon. All right, so it took out this 9:36 a.m. It's looking to take out Asia soon. All right, so it's taking out Asia's. Does it stay below this fair value gap is the question. Because price did trade up into this area. And technically, there is a long up here. Which is a short-term high. So we will consider this. This is good though. We like to see a quick rejection here, but we need to see displacement though. We can't really take any play if there's no displacement lower. And we need to see this form. If this is an imbalance in premium, we need to see this displace lower than here. And then we can take this as an inversion fair value gap. Especially since buy side's just been taken. It is not a fair value gap of choice. And it does look like we're going to creep higher a little bit. So 946. Short-term high got taken out, but there is some sell side imbalance. So this 1 minute, can't really show you on this chart, but this 1 minute fair value gap, first presented one was a sell side imbalance. So it has buy side inefficiency. There's a little bit of buy side inefficiency up here. So in this range, though, the lower quadrant is a balanced price range. So we want to see if price will stay in that balanced price range and below and drop out. Because if so, that means we can then target a few different things. On the daily chart, they might leave that for Wednesday, Monday high of week, or maybe it's Tuesday low of week potentially. I would have expected price to be a little bit more willing to go lower, but I guess not. Okay. So we're heading up into the middle quadrant. And we're likely going to fill in the rest of this quadrant here, looking at how price is reacting here. So 948. This market maker buy model has completed. This market maker buy model is about to complete. But I'm not going to be scalping long in this area, as my bias was that we would head lower first. But we have taken out previous day's low already today. So the daily expansion most certainly could be 1, 2. So it could be roughly midway through that old wick tail that we did not hit yesterday, if it continues higher. Now, again, I think we're in premium right now. And if I look at the IPTA data range, we're pretty much in the middle of the 40-day IPTA data range. And the 40-day is what governs the entire 60-day range right now. It's the high and the low of everything. So we're in the premium segment of it, the top upper quadrant. So I would imagine shorts would be more expected. Okay, so that's good. We'd like to see that. Want to see a little bit more though. So this fair value gap should hold if so. What time is it? 9:50. So 9:50, we took out sell side. And we bounced up from the first presented fair value gap. Have not taken out that high yet. So we want to see, does this result in prices going lower? 7, 6, 5. All right, so price closed below the lower quadrant of that first presented fair value gap. Okay. Rejects there. Sell side. Took out a liquidity purge. On the 1 minute, the 9:50 macro has taken out a brief sell side, but nothing crazy. 9:50. So if we trade below our first presented fair value gap, that's going to mean that we've market structure shift. We can take shorts around that area and stop. Take stops below that as well. Okay, so that's good. We still stayed beneath, roughly beneath the 50% marking there. Let's look for a 10 a.m. silver bullet then. There we go, entered short. Let's see if we can get a more pronounced move lower. All right. Moving stop loss here. I imagine it will take out that prior low. Should be taken out shortly, and then we can move our stop loss to break even. Perfect. All right, so we will leave this play on now. We know our objective was here, but let's make sure we mark the 70% level. Oops, that's not right. So we know that this to here, roughly 70%. So we know that this could react here, but we are assuming that our prices are not going to come up any higher, that we're assuming that we will see prices go lower. This is unfortunate if this stops us out here, but we want to see prices go lower in general. So we want to assume that every time we see prices like this, it will head lower. Now, we could be wrong, trading against the trend, but that's why we have movement lower like this. Oh, still incorrect. That goes the wrong way. This should be up here, and this should be down here. So now we're almost at 10 o'clock. We have an opening range. Trying to get what the opening range looks like here. And we want to see price continue lower. We don't want to see it come back up. So we want to see 10 o'clock. We want to see expansion lower, and we want to see it expand lower into our target down here, as there's liquidity down here as well. So we've taken our piece of the pie. We saw price head lower there. We should be able to move price here now, as we have got a couple of protections here. We have this bearish order block here. I don't like that there's this left open, but that is a potential breakaway gap, but I'd like to see it as. I don't want to see price react greatly up here. I want to see price really, really drop down. I'm okay with this as a first stage distribution. I think that that is reasonable for it to distribute there. I almost want to see if I'm choking this too much. I don't want to choke this one too much, but I do want to make sure I'm stopped out in the event this busts open into this sell side imbalance. But I want this to stay open, basically. I want this all to stay open. I want to see things continue much lower. And I want to take profit here at this 80 level. I think that that's the overall goal, but let's watch what happens at 25,650. Okay. And let me go back and find levels I told the boys. So 25,580 is my first target. and then 25, 545. Since I only have one, every time that there's a new, every time this drops below a short-term low here, once price drops below that, I'll move this a little bit, capture that movement, right? So we're going to watch very closely. If we can drop, price can drop below there, we'll move our stop loss to just above that high because it shouldn't come above that high anymore. And once it's below that London, there we go. So now from a stop loss perspective, we can expect price to continue lower. And we want to see it like just drop like butter through all of this. 25, 608.25. Definitely expected. So 25,650 also. All right, so this is an area where if it's bullish, if it's truly bullish, we could certainly see it react. So 10 o'clock, we still have plenty of time within the hour to expand lower. So we want to make sure we're capturing this. All right, so it's about 1,000. So we want to capture the daily range. We've now gone past that original sell side imbalance. So now that's a balanced price range, and we've sold through that and closed through that. So this is going to be very, very much so. Nice slice all the way down. So here we should be able to continue our stop loss. It should no longer go above this fair value gap, I imagine. We can keep it above this as a safety net because it hasn't come up here yet. But I imagine we can still keep it safe above this balanced price range here. So this is a balanced price range all over here. So technically we can keep it safe above here at this time. So let's see if we can get the daily range here. So 70% retracement here. It could retrace, but the relative equal lows at 608.25 should be pretty nice target. And then we should see, so I want to see this maintain below the midpoint of this balanced price range. I want to see it stay below there. That immediate rejection is nice. That this immediate like pop down from there is quite nice. We have room for roughly 40 points of retracement up here to this fair value gap. Technically, I'm supposed to keep the stop above this high here as a super safe retracement, just in case, but I don't foresee, it's very heavy, so I don't foresee it coming up all the way back up there, but let's see. It's held at the 79%, so we want to see it break down further below that as well. So this is a nice institutional order flow entry drill. So we should see price no longer come above this section here. And if it does, we'll be plenty fine. Okay, so obviously if I could take profit here, I think the 608 would be a reasonable place to take profit. We need to see how price reacts at that level. But we can see a tiny retrace. I think price should not come back above this area here. It should not even come into this area, honestly. If it's very bullish, then it certainly can. So we want to see it aim for this lower quadrant, which is what remains. It's remaining liquidity of this earlier liquidity void. So I imagine, even though there's a little bit of hesitation here, we should end up heading lower. And we'll take that first quadrant of the daily buy-side imbalance as a target. We technically don't have to. We technically could just take a low there, but I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can capture the move while it's here and see if I can keep this on my other screen for reference purposes. So we see a little bit of jump higher, a little bit of jump higher here. And we saw people got taken out there, right? So liquidity grabbed. And this could head higher now. But nice, we want to see it close within this area. We don't want to see it completely come back up. So we need to see it close below the 50% level of this. So it's a nice little peekaboo above. We want to see it drop, take out all those people who are late longs, and then continue lower. 15-minute has 6 minutes remaining. So we want to see this completely take out. Oops. So it's good so far. We've closed well below the midpoint of this, 25660. And we'll see what happens if it takes 608 out and then immediately balances up. That's fine, but I anticipate it should come down here, given how many people are long and they're fighting for their lives right now. We should be able to come down and take out this liquidity because this got a lot of people long, and this is a balanced price range now. So we want to see this remain balanced. We don't want to see any big green displacement candles higher. We want to see this confirmed by price trading below this green level here. So this, once price trades below this level, black solid line, we want price to trade below this level here. We don't want it to continue higher like it's doing, because if that's the case, we want it to close below this midpoint here. Because there's still resting liquidity beneath us. We took out liquidity above us, and we want to see it close beneath the midpoint here. We do not want to see it close above that midpoint. So that's good. Got us to close there. I think this would be a safer stop loss because technically it's barely above the candle. But yeah, I don't like to see that. I'll move it. I don't like seeing that level. I mean, it can come back up now, but I would rather see it just die. Okay, so the 1 minute rejected the high there. That's good. We need to see it close. maintain closure beneath that 50% mark. We don't like to see that 50% mark. How many? So it closed above it, so it could now reverse. That would be very sad if it did, but we'd like to see this close here, and we want to see it completely drop out now. We potentially could even add at this time, because there's a lot of liquidity here that we could still take, but it hasn't reached down below there yet. All right, so the moment it trades below that order block, we now have a good confirmation. There we go. All right, so now we're headed lower again. We should be able to add on any pops up, but I'm not going to because of the nature of where I'm at. I don't want to do that. And even so, I might see 707, 607 would be 100 points. $608. So I would like to, I'm going to take profit at 605. I know it could go lower. Let me see, what is this level? 608, 607. Yeah, let's take profit at 607 then. Two, 5, 607. And letting the rest of the day go. All right, so that sort of run there was really nice. Once it reaches this low here, we should be able to be free for the remaining run at 10 o'clock. Now, this was, looking at this, this was a daily volume. Overall, this daily gap is an area that could bring in a lot of other things, but notice how our stop loss prevented us from taking any. We thought about moving it. We did not move it. I'm glad I didn't move it. I always still have those sort of considerations that could happen. This here, if we are truly bearish, then we shouldn't have to take that anymore. It shouldn't come above there, rather. But we certainly don't want to see candle closes above the midpoint here. So that's what I'm worried about, is that it doesn't ever go down to that level. And I've seen that happen a couple of times, but I'm watching this very closely because I'm not willing to give up that many profits. And I don't want to see this go above the halfway point. I want to see it reject at the quarters. 10:15 hourly candle is coming back up. So far, short-term low form there. And we want to see no displacement above this, because if that's the case, it's going to reverse. We want to see this drop out here. We don't want to see anything close higher than that midpoint. We want to see... Oh, we don't want to see that. It's bumping up, though. We definitely did not want to see that. Okay, that's not good. We might need to move this if this is gonna take this out. I really wish this would have gone for that liquidity, but I'm kind of thinking this could go because this is gonna close higher. Yeah, it's gonna stop out. It's gonna get stopped out at like I really don't like that. I really, really don't like that it didn't go down. This might just stop us out then. That's really lame, but we're gonna let it stop us out. Because this now, we should just close it here, but we should let it stop us out on principle. Because if this closes above there, we're kind of screwed. Did I think it would do that? No, but looking at ES, it does look like it could certainly get us there. I mean, that's a pretty rough closure above below. It did hit the bearish order block there. So we're going to take another screenshot of this. If it for some reason does not end up stopping us and heading higher, then maybe we'll get lucky. But it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. So it went down into that buy side imbalance. And should we have not choked our stop so high? We still have room, but the problem is it could just keep on busting higher from here. How much of a retracement is that? Oh, technically that's a 50% retracement. I'll move mine above 50%, and if I lose that amount, then I lose that amount, I guess. Because this, I mean, I hate to do it, but it's really lame. We're gonna move it. We're gonna move it to half. So we know that if this is going to stay truly bearish, then it has to not close above this midpoint up here. And it does look like it's sort of creeping back. The hourly candle is creeping back, rather. So buys are coming in. So this has to stop now, otherwise we're gonna close it out. So it cannot move higher here. It must move lower, and it must displace lower. It cannot move higher here. Still 600, not bad, but not great. Has to move lower than this sell side imbalance, otherwise it's gonna go higher. There's a sell side imbalance on the 1 minute. Oh, nope. Yep, this is gonna bust higher. It's consolidating for stage accumulation right there. We're ready to close. Okay, we closed. We're closing. Screw these people. We're done. Okay, so let's see. Let's see, about 400. All right, well, that's kind of lame. We closed out. It's closing. This should have been the mark, knowing that we saw this displacement. So I'm just noting that for the future. See if I can capture the data here. We're gonna turn the text and marker. So we did not get what we wanted. We ended up losing a lot of profit there. We probably should have just covered, knowing that we saw this failure here. That would have been a good one. This failure to trade below here. But overall, good session. And while we didn't hit the maximum profit, it is what it is. You know, we didn't lose profit today. We made a good mark from the 1900 loss to a 1500 gain. Pretty good recovery there, and the account is relatively safe. So that's good. We took our profit where we saw it, and we're able to go higher. It will be really lame if it starts to drop here. Because that closure below here potentially could have served as a potential there, but I see this as a failure swing into the upper quadrant of the liquidity void. And this could ultimately head up higher, taking out the old shorts here. So all right, well, I think that's a wrap for today. I'm gonna hopefully that showed a little bit about some live trading concepts wise, what I was expecting to happen when, waiting for the right play to happen, waiting for the appropriate key triggers to be able to enter, and then ultimately probably could have choked up my stop to eliminate some of the loss there, but it is what it is. Once we saw this go higher and close higher, that was probably the key indication we were price was up to no good. So all right, cool. All right, folks. Well, hopefully this was fun to watch. You probably aren't even watching this. To be honest, this is more for me and for me to go back and walk through what I was thinking at the time so I can review this, and me recording. So when Apex, if they ask for recordings, I've got live data, making sure that we're live on this. Cool. What does this mean? Oh, Ninja Trader's live. Okay. Didn't realize that. Cool. All right, so we ended up with, let's see, I can kind of peek this over here. So I ended up with about 1,500-ish profit across the accounts. I lost 1,900 the other day. So I have a little bit more to recover, and I'm glad was able to get the lowest account back up to close to the 52,600. So it's a couple hundred off, but we've been able to use silver today. We were able to use NASDAQ today. Let's see what happened with silver. Wow, that really went for external range liquidity here. So silver sold off. That was a fantastic sell-off. Wow. Silver is one of the ones where if you're going to run something up, that's, oops. If you're going to run something up, it's going to be that. Oh, what the heck? I want to get this out of the way. There we go. So now this is very interesting chart. It'll be interesting to see where silver goes from here. Yeah, I think that's it though. Thank you very much. Appreciate you watching, and we'll let NASDAQ do whatever it's going to do for the rest of the day because we're done trading. So have a good one, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the trading day, and we'll keep you posted as much as I can. This is fun doing this, so I'll continue to record my trades, and you can fast forward through them as you need to. So take care, everybody. We'll talk soon. See ya.